Welcome to another share on Pirkei Avot. We're still hanging on to chapter 2 and we're going to start chapter 16 now. And we want to dedicate this share in memory of Levy ben Moshe ben Esther and Elisha ben Levy, and also in memory, I was going to say Levy ben Moshe ben Esther, but we just dedicated his memory anyway. So he gets a double aliyat neshama from this, let's say. Maybe we'll speak for twice as long.
Yeah.
Okay, over to Michael.
So in this Mishna, we introduced the words of Rabbi Yehoshua, who, if you recall from the biographies of these Chachamim, he was the very likable person who was in the community a very diplomatic fellow who used to cooperate not only with Jews but with the non-Jews in the area. He was the a friendly bridge between the communities. He was the interesting gentleman with a great sense of humor that perhaps put people at ease. He was the person who traveled. He spent a little bit of time in Egypt, and he was basically the most likable of the five disciples that we've mentioned. And so what are his three things that he mentions? Let's start the Mishnah. Rabbi Yehoshua said, Ayin hora, an evil eye, v'yetzer hora, and an evil inclination, v'sinat habrius, and hatred of people, motziin et ha'adam min ha'olam, remove a person from this world. So Rabbi Yehoshua is warning us against the concept of an evil eye. So what's an evil eye? Let's look at the commentary. For example, Bartanura, he says the evil eye is like a person who has an evil eye, which does not suffice with what he has and seeks other things. What does this mean? This means that it's a person who's not happy with his lot and looks at what other people has and almost poisons himself with a kind of latent anger that he does not possess the things that other people have. Now, if you also remember that Hashem is responsible and he decides what each person should have. So he's not happy with Hashem's decisions, and that's a waste of time. Someone who has an evil eye, it also mentions, Bartanura also mentions, and some explain the evil eye, that he inserts the evil eye into the money of his friend or his children and hurts him. So this is the concept of even extending your hate or your level of malcontent. So much so that you're almost injecting a level of poison into the minds and the person that he hates and his children, and almost like it psychologically hurts the affected people. So there's two ways to look at it. One, you're not happy with what you have. You're not happy with your lot in life. And there's a level above, which is you actively hate other people for what they have and that you don't have. It's not a matter of you not having enough, but it's because they have something, I'm angry. Now, the only thing that's going to result from that is that you're going to get ill. You're physically going to get ill. And if you don't feel like you're happy with your lot in life, you almost separate yourself from the world because you don't want to be part of it. You're not happy with the situation and you wished you were something else. So what does Rabbi Yehoshua says? Rabbi Yonah, what does he comment on this? He says the evil eye, its explanation is one who is not happy with his lot and places his eye on his fellow who is wealthier than he, thinking, when will I be as wealthy as the great wealth of this man? And this causes evil to himself and to his fellow. It is like the wise men of science say about everything that is his neighbor's. Vapor comes up from that thought and burns the things that he puts his eye towards with an evil eye. He also burns himself inside, like even from the acidic levels that he now produces within his body. And Rabbi Yonah continues, since he desires things, the thought of which he does not have the ability in his hand to materializes, he destroys his body, and as he shortens his spirit and removes it from the world. And this is the evil eye about which Rabbi Yoshua spoke. And the proof of this explanation is that here he said, evil eye, the ra, in the masculine, which is the one that put his eye to something for evil. And also in Avot, Mishna, Perek 2, verse Mishna 9, it said evil eye in the feminine, ra'ah, the explanation of which is about the trait of stinginess. And it is not like the words of some of the commentators, and the evil inclination and hatred of the creations, like the simple meaning, remove a person from the world. What does Rambam say about this idea of sinat habrios, motinet adam ben olam, and hatred of creations? This Rambam says explains that he despises the company of creations and loves to sit alone. And this is Bartanura mentioning, and I heard this referring to a hard man who brings a hatred of the creations upon him and causes all to hate him. Rambam mentions about the hatred for humankind puts a person out of the world. He says that exuberance for money and much desire and badness of the soul, and that is sickness of the black bile, which brings a man to be disgusted with that which his eyes see, and he will hate it, and he will prefer the company of animals in isolation in the wilderness and in forests, and he will choose an uninhabited place, and this is with them not because of asceticism, but rather because of the lack of desire and their jealousy of others. These will without a doubt kill a man, as his body will get sick and he will die before his time. So Rambam mentioning the physiological aspect of this inward inward jealousy and inward evil eye that actually gives you a black bile, which is very true. When you are wound up inside about what you regard as injustices, all you do is you create an acidic environment for your body, and the more your body is subject to these acidic complaints, the shorter your life will be. As we know, as Rambam mentioned in various places about the importance of having a level digestive system. That's the most important thing. And he's saying that having these attitudes gives you black bile, or his words, and it will send you to remove yourself from society, because you can't stand every day looking at other people who are perhaps better off than you or in different situations. You desire what they have, and you can't stand even to live amongst those who are in better situations than you. They may not even be in better situations, they just could be happier than you, but you desire that happiness that they have above what you are experiencing, and that sometimes perhaps is mistaken, because perhaps their happiness is not exactly what you believe it to be, and it causes him to take himself out of society, as Rambam says, and take himself to the forests, and rather be in the company of animals and isolation, and probably send himself mad. So that's why it says it puts a person out of this world. So very, very interesting Mishna there. That concludes this Mishna. And hopefully we'll talk about Rabbi Yossi next Mishna.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Michael. Looking forward to next time. Bezrat Hashem.